Criminals who stand trial in court usually never create a scene considering their game is up and they can no longer change their fate. In this video, however, we look at criminals who created or tried to create a scene in court. Let's take a look at some crazy criminals. Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari. In August 2018, a heinous crime was brought to everyone's attention. Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari were accused of neglecting their daughter, who later passed away from malnutrition and dehydration. The two used religion as a defense against their grim actions. When the judge told Welch and Fusari about the charges they were facing and that they were facing life in prison, their reactions went viral. Welch's mouth dropped in shock, unable to believe what he was hearing. Fusari sobbed uncontrollably, tears streaking her face. In June 2020, Welch was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Fusari was convicted of first-degree murder and first-degree child abuse in November 2021. She received a life sentence without parole and an additional 15 to 30 years for the respective crimes. Paul Senecal. In February 2023, Paul Senecal was brought into court to await the jury's verdict against him. He was accused of fatally stabbing 29-year-old Melanie Chinese in May 2022 in Wappinger, New York. She was the daughter of Senecal's ex-girlfriend. Senecal had been arrested 3 times for domestic violence-related offenses and had a restraining order against him and an ankle monitor to protect the victim's mother. After the judge warned Senecal against any outburst, he immediately ignored the order. Senecal began yelling at his ex that he still loved her. It took a battalion of officers to restrain him before he was ordered out of the courtroom. Senecal was found guilty by the jury of several charges. He was later sentenced to life in prison without parole for the slaying of Chinese. Luis Bracamontes. In October 2014, Luis Bracamontes went on a shooting spree in Sacramento County, California. On top of carjacking, he fatally shot Sheriff Deputy Danny Oliver and Detective Michael Davis, injuring others. Throughout his court appearances, Bracamontes gained infamy with his erratic behavior. When he was found guilty by the jury, he smiled. Bracamontes then stated that he would take out more officers. In April 2018, during the sentencing, victim impact statements were being read out when Bracamontes interrupted them with a barrage of swearing. However, that day was the last straw. Bracamontes lashed out, calling the trial a waste of time and shouting 23 expletives at the people involved. He was given capital punishment for his crimes. His wife, Janelle Monroy, was found guilty of helping Bracamontes and received 50 years in jail. Shondell Jackson. In February 2010, Shondell Jackson was found guilty of the attempted robbery and murder of University of Wisconsin student Nathan Potter. As the jury read the verdict, Jackson turned to Potter's family and mouthed insults at them. As he was escorted from the court, he smirked at the grieving family. During Jackson's sentencing in April 2010, he glanced at the family again, but this time officers immediately pounced on him. Jackson fought back briefly, but was soon pepper-sprayed and restrained by 3 officers before being dragged from the room. Jackson received life in prison without parole. His angry family members shouted support to him as he was led away, and one screamed at Potter's family as she left the courtroom. Trey Relford. In April 2015, Salahuddin Jitmood was doing his final delivery of the night for Pizza Hut in Lexington, Kentucky. Instead of finishing up and going home, he was robbed and fatally stabbed. While a group of 3 people was originally arrested for the crime, only Trey Relford was indicted in November 2017. Just before sentencing could happen, the victim's father, Jitmood Sr., made a statement that surprised everyone. Using the teachings he'd learned from Islam, he forgave Relford for his part in his son's demise. Afterward, Jitmood approached Relford and hugged him. There was only uncontrollable sobbing as Robert and Jitmood's father embraced one another, proving that sometimes kindness does prevail. The convict also showed remorse and apologized for his actions. Relford was sentenced to 31 years in prison. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you can see our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.